Might have a connection for you if you have not.
Uh, well, I know Ruth Groff, and, I, I know, Joe Wetmore,
Mhm.
so specifically though, no, I mean, who are you recommending?
So I actually was reached out to because Chris is also working with him on some other stuff. Edward
Last name?
Dubovi.
Mm,
So he, I
don't
think,
know him.
recently appointed as the task force or chair of the Conservation Advisory Committee, and they're looking to do climate smart work. So I was wondering if we
Okay.
could talk about this meeting if you guys would like to either meet up or maybe form a joint task force depending on what your priorities are.
It just depends. We're pretty far along the road, and I don't want to add another meeting to my schedule or anyone else's in the village, unless it's beneficial to the village. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
So it doesn't hurt to talk, but I can't promise that we would want to join up. The goals in the town typically, historically, are significantly different than the goals within the village.
Mhm.
Is, I guess, the only way I can put that. But it's worth a discussion, but I can't make a promise.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. And I just wanted to bring the possibility of it up because I know that other towns and villages sometimes have like a joint task force where they share a meeting and they kind of work on the same things. But I know that having different priorities and being at different places obviously can change that. So
Right. It's difficult, and I'm kept pretty busy myself. So
I'm sure.
it's worth considering, for sure. If
Hmm.
we could, if by joining we could further both of our goals at the same simultaneously, that would be fine. We would just have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, I can kind of give you an update. I have a meeting with Edward next week, so I'll keep
Okay.
you posted.
Okay. The I know I was waiting. Oh, there she is. There's Kathy. Or Kathleen, I should say. Kathleen, are you there? Can you hear us? Hi, Kathleen. I'm going to have Chris and Jerry um, introduce themselves. Jerry, we will start with you. Lynn uh, Lynn Leopold will not be with us tonight. She had another commitment. So, uh, Jerry, why don't you start? Then we'll go to Chris.
All right. Hi, Kathleen. I'm Jerry. So I'm the Climate Smart Communities Coordinator for both Tompkins County and Tiger County, and I am based out of Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Chris.
Um, and I'm the Clean Energy Communities Coordinator, which is a program run through NYSERDA, also based out of Cooperative Extension, cover Tompkins and a couple other counties.
Kathleen is our latest trustee. She was elected in April's election, and she came on board, and Susan Ainsley was reelected in her role too. So this is Kathleen's first meeting with us. Uh, I know she's probably going to have some uh, a learning curve, but basically, Kathleen, we've gone through the climate smart communities pledge elements and tasks within those pledge elements, and we have been slowly working through those and achieving the action items that we can. We at times have found that action items would not fit with the village, were too cumbersome for the village to undertake. But the ones that we did think that were valuable to us, we try to pursue. Sometimes we go down the path in pursuit of an action item, but only to discover that it's really not for us. And what our goal is for each of those action items is to have some sort of formal documentation or evidence that we have achieved or we are achieving or have achieved what that action item requires for evidence for submission into the CSC program. And then once we have a certain number of points related to all of our action items, we would be considered to be at the bronze level. So we are still working at that. I think we're probably about 20 points away from the bronze level out of 319 or something. I can't remember, or 119. But basically, we go through each meeting. We go through the current action items we've been researching and see if we've made progress. And if we feel like we're confident enough that we're ready to submit it, then I will submit the evidence to the CSC. Actually, the clean energy community for many of the actions, it's in parallel. So we kind of do a joint submission on both programs. So don't feel too overwhelmed if you're not understanding, but definitely you can ask a question and we will do our best to enter it, or I'm sorry, answer it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So for this evening's meeting, we're in pledge element 6, the planning and infrastructure for bicycling and walking. That I think that we would be achieving that process when we release our joint safety action plan that's underway. And I received word at a meeting yesterday, I believe, that the plan will not be released until May. They're halfway through the process of collecting all of the information and getting it ready for a federal consumption for the Safe Streets for All, and at the same time making artifacts available to the Tompkins County residents to let them know what's going on with that safety action plan. So we're getting ready to go live with a website. It's under development. It's pretty close. They were going to try to release it today. I haven't heard anything. So I figure by early next week it would be released, and then that would provide, I guess, a platform for people to research and understand what's going on with this program. So we'll continue with that. I'm attending all of the meetings that they have currently scheduled and that will be scheduled, just to kind of keep everyone informed from the village side. So that's where we are with that. The alternative fuels infrastructure that I wanted to try to have as a future shared services initiative program, that the SSI Shared Services Initiative was canceled by the state, so that won't happen under that program. But that doesn't mean that something won't come out of our Tompkins County Council of Governments that we would basically do a joint, at some point do a joint grant application or application with a provider to have alternative fuel infrastructure like charging stations and so forth, rather than just individual municipalities doing it a little at a time. That was kind of been my goal for the last several years, but it was never selected as a shared services initiative, and that will have gone away. So for this one, I'm just going to say pursue a future TCOG shared services.
The that joint safety action plan you're talking about for
Yes.
the infrastructure, bike walk infrastructure, is that related to the Safe Streets and Roads for All
Yes,
initiative? Okay.
safe,
So
safe streets for all, yes.
Safe Streets for All.
Yeah.
Is that which municipality is the lead?
The city of Ithaca is the
The
lead
city
on
is?
that. Yeah.
Do you know out of curiosity who at the city is actually like helming that?
Let me check my email just a
Sure.
second. Most of the recent emails have been coming from the uh, contractor who's we're paying to guide this plan to fruition.
Okay.
Let me do.
No worries. I was just
It's
yeah.
okay.
It literally just came up in another at a CCE. Yeah, so just curious.
Going through my emails to find out what you recall. Who is doing that? Erin Cudahy, ErinCuddihy. Her email address is ecudahy@cityofithaca.org.
Terrific. Yeah. Thank you.
And yeah, she's kind of the point person for the city. And if there's any question that she can't answer, I'm sure that she can find someone within the city and or one of the various there's a central contractor who's guiding the joint safety action plan, but they have some subcontractors that are helping them with the overall action. So she can kind of point you to whomever would be best for any kind of questions you might have.
Can you put that in the chat or is that activated?
I can put that in chat. I just have to get the chat. Okay. Okay. It is there. Okay. So for those two action items, given the status update, and for then moving on to pledge element 7, evaluate policies for the climate resilience. Have we heard anything from the DEC, Jerry, about what would be the requirements for the climate resilience plan?
The
Climate
requirements
smart.
anything crazy. They're just, I would need some support from you guys to get some data, as well as form some like a scenario planning session, which is basically an outreach session that where we include important stakeholders to talk about where they think they need the most help with for resilience planning for extreme disasters. So I wouldn't worry about the requirements per se. It's more that we're just waiting on DEC right now to renew my contract so I can continue to do this work.
Gotcha. Okay.
So no news on that yet. And as soon as I get those news, I'll share it out. But we're not the only ones that are waiting on the news right now. It's everyone across the state is waiting for the contracts to come out.
What data specifically do you need from the village?
Just like infrastructure, critical infrastructure. So that's something that's really important. So things we want to protect in face of, major weather events like flooding, blizzards, heat waves, that sort of thing, as well as just some general data. But that's the other general data. That's something I can probably find on my own. If there's someone that can help with demographic data, that'd be great. Um, some stuff about the history behind the village would be great as well. Uh, but just general things that'll kind of give people an introduction or idea of what the village of Lansing is like. Yeah.
Okay. The health department, basically, pointed me to thank the Department of Emergency Response for heating or cooling, recommended heating and cooling centers within the county and within the village. I think the mall is one. So some of this would be through their documentation, but also I think we've included some of this within our comprehensive plan at a very high level and our Greenway plan at a very high level to basically provide a lot of green space for potential just general cooling, but no specific facility. Anyway, so that information will probably come from multiple sources. So when you can start that, just let us know and we'll start putting together the information for you, Jared.
That would be great. Yeah. I'll like update you guys as soon as I get the update. I'm just been waiting for the past month and they
Okay.
said they'd get back to us. They haven't yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, when they're in the budget cycle, it's like everything just halts. And then after the budget cycle, they're playing catch up with a lot of other things. So that's not unusual. The heat emergency plan, basically, I just kind of told you what I had found. I didn't get I don't think I got anything from Lynn on environmental health. The shade structures will just rely on the information from Drew Riedel's documents that he put together a couple of months ago, and go forward from there. I guess I should go through those and see if we've got anything that I could pull for villages documentation for submission. But I think it's pointing toward a lot of external information for those shade structures and cooling centers. Conserve natural areas, those definitely are identified in a Greenway plan and a comprehensive plan. But it's at a high level. There's only, I think, 1 or 2 unique natural areas, and one of those is a piece of the School of Ornithology over that's, I think a lot of it's in the town of Ithaca, but a piece of it goes into the village. So we have identified some of those at a high level in the comprehensive plan and a little more detail within the Greenway plan. And Carolyn Greenwald, the deputy mayor and the trustee, is taking over updating the comprehensive plan now. So that's in the early stages of being worked on. So if there's I guess if there's anything that you can think of, Jerry, that we might want to include within the comprehensive plan that would help us out, just, I guess, let me know, and we can try to put together some guidance for
Yeah.
Carolyn to include that within the comprehensive plan.
So I actually have if you would like, I can send you the information on what the um sort of things DEC looks for in comprehensive plans. So you don't have to hit all of them, but there's like a point structure for how many points you can get for comprehensive plans with sustainability elements to it.
Okay.
I can send you the entire list that they have.
Okay.
Most of them are requirements, but maybe some of those would be interesting to the village as well, just to think about. So
Okay,
I will write that down and have that sent to you right after the meeting.
okay, thank you. And then I'll forward it on to Carolyn, and we can look at, also the Greenway Committee could look at that to see if when we go through our next iteration of updating the Greenway plan, if we can make it a little more specific too. So that both the Greenway plan and the comprehensive plan are synchronized as far as our efforts of identification and protection. So that would be helpful. Thank you.
Could you also forward it to me, because I'm on that committee?
Yeah, Jerry, just forward it to this group.
Gotcha. I'll just reply all on the email that was sent out recently. Also
would be
kind of unrelated, is Drew still a part of the committee? He's just not here today, or
No, since he's no longer a trustee, I invited him to continue as a community representative. And he might come in later, but for the time being, I don't think so.
okay. I was just curious.
How about disaster? If there's another disaster other than flooding or weather related, for shelters, a map of shelters, is that something that would be useful?
Yes, that would come under the hazard mitigation plan and the county's emergency response plan, I believe. So that information should be available at the county, on the county side. We don't really have to recreate that, but as far as, I don't think there's anything here that's required for CEC or CSC or CEC, but that was where that would come from, Kathleen, is there are those documents. And I will see if I can get those to you. Let me that's a separate note outside of this. So let me bracket that so I'll know. Whoops, bracket it. Culverts and dams, I still have not received information from John Courtney or Mike Scott. I know that we're doing some work on our stormwater system right at the moment, so I will continue to hit them up. I know we've done this in the past. We've done specific culvert work. There's one not very far from me where Deborah and I live, and I thought there's at least one more culvert that we have right-sized within the last 3 to 4 years. So I wanted to get that information and provide that for this action. So I'm still waiting. I know that Mike and John have both been busy recently. John, especially since our work window with the spring weather has reopened, and they've got a lot of different projects going on. The riparian buffers, this information, as I recall, when I was attending Cayuga Lake, Intermunicipal Water Organization. They have some information about riparian buffers. And I'm just trying to get that from them. I haven't been able to get anyone to respond. I might ask Susan Ainsley to do that since she's our representative now. So the watershed plan, I think they have been working on that for several years, and it would cover a lot of the Pledge Element 7 actions that I had listed here. So I just need to get that from them, what state it's in and when it's will be released, or if it has been released and I just don't know about it. So they have, that's just a note for me. So I will continue to try to get that information from them. I did a search online, but I could not find exactly what I was looking for. And it may be because the plan that it's either been subsumed into another document, or it is in work and just hasn't been released from that organization yet. The Pledge Element 7 watershed plan, again, I think a lot of that is with the Cayuga Lake Watershed Intermunicipal Organization. So I think that I can answer a lot of these when I find that document and get hold of the right person. The Pledge Element 9 and 12, I would like to just postpone those temporarily until we get through these, the substantial Pledge Element 7 and a couple of Pledge Element 6 actions right now. For CEC, our bronze certification from CEC is still in process. We have the Solar Farms New York program. We just kicked off a new agreement. I have not heard if we have any new signups within that program. And Chris, did you ever hear, were there any new signups from our clean heating and cooling program?
Yes. Yeah, so I ended up running the numbers for Town of Lansing, who I got in touch with recently.
Okay.
And we actually have enough installs. I'm just cleaning the list now. But we actually have enough that we could turn that in the program. So Kathleen, for the clean heating and cooling campaign, I don't know if you know, but municipalities can receive credit for heat pump installations in their jurisdiction that the town actively participates in sort of promoting. And so one of the projects that I've been working with the village on since I came on was connecting and documenting these installations. So we had that presentation. Guillermo gave that presentation about the Lansing non-pipes back in the fall. We've had some other outreach materials. And yeah, so we've got the 10. I had been meaning to ask you about a contact for the solar farms campaign, because I was hoping to get in touch with them to follow up on that as well.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me search my email again and I will get back to you on that. I'll put it in the chat again.
You know, I just found this. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Water Quality Reporting and Planning Cayuga Lake Watershed Intermunicipal Organization January 2024 report.
Okay.
Is that something you're looking for?
It's part of the water quality, but it's not a plan.
Not what you're looking for.
On how they, yeah, it's not exactly, it's an artifact
Okay.
from the plan that I'm looking
Got it.
for.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess in the meantime, Kathleen, do you have any questions specifically about our programs? Do you want like kind of an overview of any of them, or do you feel like you kind of get it already?
No, I'll keep listening and
Yeah, no worries.
thank you.
Yeah.
Is, well, I'll wait till you finish going through your list, because I want to be mindful of your time. Waste reduction. Is that a component?
Yes, so that is one of the actions within the Climate Smart Communities program. So there's several things I believe that kind of fall under that category, and I'm trying to look for that now. And I can even send you the link to the website right now that kind of lists every single action within the program. It is a very long list, so it is a little overwhelming to look at first. Don't worry too much about it for now. But if you are interested in looking at sort of what actions can be taken within the program, this is a good way to kind of scroll through.
Okay.
I'm seeing organics management plan. That's something that's done. Recycling bins in government buildings, which I believe Ronnie already has done. Um, Organic waste programs, construction and demolition waste policy, reuse programs is a big one. Recycling programs for public places and events, and there's also a waste reduction education campaign as well. So yeah, waste reduction is definitely I would say one of the bigger overarching themes in the program.
And I think we would probably rely on the county's recycling organization to provide that.
Yeah.
There's no sense in us reinventing that wheel since they've got the network and the resources and the history of providing that type of information.
And I'm wondering if things like water fountains, to replace single-use plastic, that's unnecessary single-use plastic, that sort of stuff. From both a public health point of view and also, the waste crisis that we really have. Solid waste crisis that fits in with the county and the state 10-year plan.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
No, no, you're fine. It's
Okay.
definitely good ideas to think about. So I appreciate you bringing them up.
The concern we've had in the village with installing water fountains is this maintaining the sanitary aspect of those water fountains. If they're not cleaned regularly, they can spread various forms of illness. And we've talked about in the last couple of parks that we've installed amenities about putting a water fountain and running a water line, etc. But it's really problematic because once it's there, you're responsible for keeping it clean. And same thing with public restrooms. It puts the village in precarious position being sued in a litigious society. So far up to now, we have kind of shied away from those two things. I agree. I don't like to see plastic water bottles, but I would rather educate people on having a personal water bottle that they carry with them, which is what Deborah and I have been doing for years now. And I can't remember which city it is in Europe, but there's one city in Europe that's thinking of banning single-use plastic bottles. Yeah. And making it just, they will not sell them. I guess people could carry them into the city, but they won't allow them to be sold. So for that reason, it's just, there's so much waste. The thing that still amazes me, and I'm sure it could be worse by now, but when we were living in Dallas, just before we moved here, we were as guilty as anyone of going and buying single-use water bottles and carrying them everywhere. They had a report one evening on local news of this person who is standing beside a 10-foot cube of plastic bottles that had been compressed. And that cube was 1 day's waste of plastic use, single-use bottles in Dallas. A 10-foot cube times years, and some, it's just like at that point, I stopped whenever, occasionally in an emergency, I will buy one, but anymore, it's all personal, carry my own and use it. So. Okay, let me get back to the agenda. Okay. Okay, thank you, Chris. Get those to us whenever possible. Get the new installations list, and I will do my best to submit it, or work with you to submit it in the correct way.
Mhm.
As I do it so irregularly that I sometimes forget and mess up the process, but I'll see if I can remember it this time. So pretty much, still some action items outstanding. That's all I have for this meeting. I will not be available this next month. I will be away. So I thought that we would potentially skip the June meeting and meet again in July, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, I actually won't be available for June either. I'm on vacation, so
Okay, yeah, the same here. Same with me, so I'll just be out. So Kathy or Kathleen, sorry, I'm trying to stop calling you Kathy. I've known you as Kathy
I
for a long.
respond to
I
anything.
know, but you said that you prefer Kathleen in our meeting, and I'm trying to remember to do that. Just kind of go through these. I will point you to the websites for climate smart communities and clean energy communities, and you can kind of scroll through there as you want to get more information, to kind of see what we've been doing. There's also our village webpage. It's got some information about what we have been doing in the past. So you could look at that too. And I will give you a link to that so you can kind of get caught up, but don't worry too much about what we've done in the past. We're kind of moving forward. So, but learning the past can help us with things we do in the future too. So you can kind of just peruse that at your convenience.
Okay.
Okay.
Any assignment or homework for me for the next month?
No, I think the assignment would be just kind of go through the things and start deciding. And then
Okay.
as we go through our action items, if there's something that you're interested in, or we'll give you an assignment then.
Okay.
And it might happen after, as I'm going through these action items, preparing for the next meeting, that I could say, oh, could you help look at this, Kathy and Kathleen, and get it for the next meeting? But you need to kind of get ramped up in the terminology and kind of what we're doing and why, and that will be your assignment for a while. But always feel free to step in and ask questions, provide comments, or volunteer to take over something that you think you're interested in. Okay.
Yeah, anything public health related, or source water protection, water quality.
Okay, good. That's good
yeah.
feedback.
And feel free to. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, go ahead, Jerry.
I was gonna say, feel free to email me, or I think Chris is also available, but feel free to email me if you have any questions about our programs. I'm happy to answer anything whenever I'm available.
Okay.
Well, thank you. It's good to see you in person rather than just a name.
Okay, I will adjourn the meeting, and I will see everyone in July. And Jerry, have good, or was it Chris or Jerry that said you were on vacation?
This is Jerry.
Jerry, okay, yeah, I was working and wasn't looking at the screen.
I'll be
All right,
here. I'll log on by myself to the village's Climate Smart meeting in
Yeah,
June.
it's
I'll
a
hold it
hab-
down.
It's
I
a
guess.
habit that's hard to break, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good time on your vacation as well.
Oh, and Ronnie, I wanted to say quickly, I saw that the village had submitted a letter to the Public Service Commission about the Clean Energy Communities funding
Yes, I did.
proposal.
I did
And
do
so I just wanted to, because we hadn't touched base about it, so I just wanted to say thank you. And I saw the comment, and we've had some comments come from the region, and so that it means a lot that people would take the time to write. So
that. Yeah.
thank you for that.
I have nothing but kudos for both you and Jerry. The programs within the Cornell Cooperative Extension have been very helpful in this whole process. So I had no problem writing that. As soon as I got the notification that you're trying to get something submitted, I sat down and did that within a day. So hope it helps. Let's put it that way. We shall see.
The thought counts for me. We'll see what happens with the filing.
No,
So.
well, you're welcome. You're welcome. You've been very helpful. And just keep us apprised of everything that's going on. Let us know what's happening. If you get news that it's slow getting to us, okay?
Will do. Will do.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. And
All right.
we'll see
Thank
you
you.
Thank you.
in July.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.